But imagine the people, how negative they are. They just walk without clothes. Jainis, they have, you see, all kinds of taboos against all the worms, everything. It's said, these people have started, that if you do not respect these little animals, like you can say, even serpent, or any animal which is troublesome and bad, but is a human, is a living thing, so is to be preserved. Now these Jains are mad. I told you that they have gone to such a limit of vegetarianism that they try to save even the bugs, put the bugs in a hut. And the hut has got a Brahmin there. Now these bugs suck the blood of this Brahmin. And once the Brahmin is completely, I should say, sucked in by these bugs, they fall on the ground. Then they allow the Brahmin to come out and they give him a lot of dakshina, means they give him money as a reward for helping the bugs to suck his blood. This kind of vegetarianism is there. Beware of vegetarians. You see, even Hitler was a vegetarian. So you can imagine what sort of a vegetarianism it is. All these fads of vegetarianism and all that are not at all required. And that's what Mahavira showed in his life, that it is not at all important to bother about food, what issue. See, the whole theory of this vegetarianism has gone to such a nonsensical limits that I have told people that we should give up vegetarianism completely. Now also see the juxtaposition of what he wanted to do. If you do not eat proteins, you cannot fight booths. A person who has booths in him must eat a lot of proteins, not carbohydrates, but proteins, so that it can fight those left-sided enemies. But here it is, they have to be vegetarians. Now imagine there are left-sided enemies within them and they want to be vegetarians. Finished. How will they fight it? So all this is all, we should say, is pre-planned by the person who tries to sort of, we can say like this, that you see a person who tries to remove or we can say that the person who tries to make these lower animals live rather than human beings. You see, they are oppressors. This is the stupid thing they do. Must know that I cannot give realization to these worms and to these fishes or even to chickens. We require human beings. So all this has happened because of human beings going in juxtaposition of whatever is said. Like Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. And I have yet to come across a Christian who is not a Sahaja Yogi without adulterous eyes, whether it's a woman or a man. So we go just the opposite of what we have been taught. In the case of same thing happened, that Mahavira, what he tried to do was absolutely killed by these people who are trying to make this vegetarianism as a big religion. Also another thing was that this vegetarianism came into Jainism through one fellow called Neminath, who was a Tirthankar at the time of Sri Krishna. He was to be married. In those days they were married. Not only, but they were eating all kinds of meats. And so many lambs and goats came for the wedding of this man. So he felt that Uparati, we call it, he didn't like, he was disgusted, he was frustrated with that. With that frustration, what did he do? He said, I will not eat meat. And that's how vegetarianism started among Jainis. And that's how it's still going on. And these Jainis I find are the joyless people, absolutely joyless. They are so much fond of money, they run after the money and they go on behaving in such a peculiar way that you can't understand. I mean, they are human beings, but the way they behave, you cannot understand them. They are not normal people. So we realize that despite all that Mahavira worked out, still the people are supposed to be his disciples. They are Jains, and they are like this. So what we have to do now is to understand that in Sahaja Yoga we better not do something of that kind. Whatever you are told, you have to understand why it is so. You know the modus operandi, you know each and everything about Sahaja Yoga. You know the whole subject. So it's not proper for you to, in any way, to succumb to any such arguments or any such big talks or big advertisement and take to something that is wrong. It's very important. We are Sahaja Yogis. We understand the balance. Of course, I always say that Westerners, for example, maybe Australians also, should take more to carbohydrates because they eat a lot of meat. So they can take to carbohydrates. But that doesn't mean vegetarianism by any chance. I mean to compensate. And in India, I always say they must take to more meats. It's good to do them good. But by no means I say that you just eat meat and nothing else. But a balance has to be found out. And once you strike it, then you'll be surprised that you feel so relaxed, so much better, so much enlightened, and the vibrations will flow much better than normal. So for food, you have to be careful. Same about with clothes, that you shouldn't go mad after a suit all the time, whether it's hot or cold or indifferent. What you have to do is to wear something that will suit you. Now, for example, in a climate like this, you may require a suit or something to cover yourself. But supposing you are in Ganpatipure, some place like that, where it's not so cold, not so hot, maybe it's dry. So what sort of a dress you should wear which is comfortable, that should be found out. And whatever you find out, that this is such a comfortable dress for us, you better do it. Because what I have seen, you see, it's a thing that whenever I tell you something, don't take it to the extremes and don't take a little bit of it. But when I tell you this thing, you must understand that whatever is good for you, whatever is your temperament, whatever is aptitude, you have to take something that will nourish that will improve you and give you a balance. So to balance yourself, if you think of Mahavira, you must think also of Shri Hanuman. Both these things are important.